I don't
Can
see
you
him.
see him?
I
No.
don't.
Okay. He's using the phone.
I'm trying to see if he's on the list.
I saw there's somebody on the phone now.
Okay. Might be him.
Okay, we are live.
Okay, we're live. I'd like to call the April 20, I'm losing time, 27th meeting or 28th?
28.
I thought so. We're losing time.
Yeah.
I'd like to call the April 28th meeting of the Common Council to order, and I'd ask everybody to look at my screen and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, if you will please call the roll and read the announcements.
This meeting is being recorded. We ask everyone to speak clearly, one at a time. Please state your name when called upon by the presiding chair. Members of the public can access this meeting by telephone, Zoom, and/or the City of Norwalk YouTube channel. There is a link with specific instructions and links at www.norwalkt.org/meetings. Thank you. Mr. Burnett,
Present.
Ms. Johnson,
Present.
Mr. Langella, Mr. Sacchinelli,
Present.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Huvelman,
Present.
Mr. Roberts,
Present.
Mr. Dumas.
Present.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Young,
Here.
Mr. Kides,
Here.
Mr. Theodorides,
Here.
Mr. Keegan,
Here.
Mr. Sirenides,
Present.
Mr. Livingston,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here.
Is Mr. Langella here? No?
Yes.
Sorry, I
Yes.
think I was muted when I said here.
Thank you. 15 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda, or the next item on the agenda, is the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting of April 14th, 2020. Do I have a motion? Mr. Huvelman moves. Any discussion, any omissions, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Minutes carried unanimously. Public participation? Ms. King or Mr. Manzi?
We have no attendees from the public at this point.
I received nothing by email.
Okay, next item on the agenda is resignations and appointments, of which we have none. Next, the mayor's remarks. Just a couple of brief ones. One, we continue our social distancing. We continue having City Hall closed to the general public, but there are people at City Hall working on a daily basis to provide the essential services that we need to provide. Anybody who wishes to access an essential service or wish to speak with any department head can either dial our community, our service number at 203-854-3200, or you can call an individual department and leave a message. We ask for your patience because we know that We're running on a very limited staff. We're staggering hours so that we minimize the exposure that our staff has with each other. We also, at the last council meeting, as you probably know, voted to allow the property taxes a 90-day grace period. Property taxes are now due on October 1st as opposed to July 1st. A little caveat there, if you don't pay by October 1st, the interest goes back all the way to July 1st. We have arranged so that you can pay your taxes online, by telephone, and we are starting a walk-up window at City Hall where you can walk up and pay your taxes there. Again, we are I have asked my staff to start working on a transition team when we can start easing some of the restrictions under which we currently find ourselves. We know the public is getting very, very frustrated, as all of us are, and we're looking forward to a time when we can get back to whatever the new normal will be. And we want to provide some guidance in doing that, so we don't rush into easing all the restrictions before it's really appropriate to do so. I've made comments over and again that we will be following the guidance of the medical professionals who are monitoring the coronavirus situation very closely, and will be giving us guidance, as will our governor and the Connecticut Department of Health. Unfortunately, we are now over 1,500 coronavirus cases in the city of Norwalk, and we are at 74 people who have passed away. And one of the most difficult things is every day when I have to put out a briefing where another member of our community had passed away. We have mothers, fathers, sons and daughters and grandparents and very close friends. And the impact is so much, the impact is tremendous because each death affects so many other people for losing a loved one. So at this particular moment, if I could just ask for one moment of silence for the people in our community who have lost their lives due to this situation, the coronavirus. Thank you. That concludes my remarks. If I can now turn it over to the council president, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just a couple of comments. I think that we're getting to the point where probably all of us have been touched in some way, know someone who has passed away from COVID-19. And you know, I echo the mayor's sentiments that this is tragic and it deeply affects us all at a time when I think so many of us are feeling the quarantine fatigue. I know I'm experiencing it. I know pretty much everyone I talk to has been, and we just really, really have to keep it up to protect the public. So I really just have some appeals to our constituents tonight to just continue the quarantine, to stay at home and follow the guidance that comes from the mayor's office in terms of, you know, when we can start to ease things. But I also have an additional appeal, and it's regarding food distribution. We have the city working together with the schools has been distributing food to Norwalk school children ages 2 through 18. And we, many of us on the council have already put out some information that is available in Spanish. So I'm just appealing to anyone who is a Spanish speaker who could just grab those flyers from our social media, from our Facebook accounts, from Twitter, wherever it happens to be, and share those. And please translate them so that everyone knows that where the pickup sites are to receive food for our kids. And also, this has been talked about a lot too, but the food banks are very low and people are suffering and hungry, and we need food. So if you can, please make a donation to person or the homeless shelter or any of the food banks. So that's my appeal. So thank you for doing that. for the people who need it. And with that, we'll move on to the consent calendar being read tonight by Mr. Sacchinelli.
Thank you. 7A, Public Works Committee, 1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Deeren Construction Inc. for project PM 2020-2, permanent repairs and surface restoration for a sum not to exceed $488,890, account noted. 7A, 1B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on contract with Deeren Construction Inc. for project PM 2020-2, permanent pavement repairs and surface restoration for a sum not to exceed $48,889, account noted. Technical correction of the Common Council action of March 12, 2019, item 7C4, to add accounts designated for retaining wall installation and reclamation of parking lot for recreation and parks, account number noted and secondary account noted. Item 7A2A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Deeren Construction Inc. for project PM 2019-1 pavement management program for a sum not to exceed $4,538,688.50, accounts noted. Item 7A2B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract with Deeren Construction Inc. with project PM 2019-1 pavement management program for a sum not to exceed $453,868.85. Accounts are noted. Item 7A3, approve $100 fee to residents and real property owners who do not pay vehicle tax to Norwalk to use the transfer station and yard waste site per Chapter 9494-19. Item 7A4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Care Environment Corp. for project 3980, household hazardous waste collection for a sum not to exceed $27,800, account noted. Item 7A5, reauthorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and T and Bond Inc. To provide construction observation service for DPW capital projects related to the paving program for an amount not to exceed $210,850 on a sole source procurement basis, accounts noted. Item 7A6, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an amendment with Priority Landscaping LLC to project DPW 2019-1, removal and disposal of deposited sediment within the water course for an amount not to exceed $15,000, accounts noted. Item 7A7, authorize the purchasing agent to purchase 5 sets of rectangular rapid flashing beacons from Tapco Inc., Brown Deer, for a sum not to exceed $27,900, accounts noted. Item 7C, 1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary to apply for and accept grant funds for the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance under the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program, FY 2020, formula grant in the amount of $114,467. Item 7C1B, authorize the Chief of Police, Thomas Kahalik, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, and amendments as may be necessary to implement all programs through the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program, FY 2020, formula grants, accounts to be announced. Item 7C2A, consent to amend as read. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary to apply for and accept grant funds from the Departments of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency under 2020 Port Security Grant Program in the amount not to exceed $619,250. Item 7C2B, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents, instruments, and amounts to be that may be necessary to implement all programs through 2020 Port Security Grant Program pursuant to said funding accounts to be announced. And that's the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Sacchinelli. And I'll call for a vote at this time. All in favor of the consent calendar as read with that one amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, carries unanimously. Thank you. Back to you, Mayor.
I thought I heard somebody opposed to the consent calendar. Was that, or did I mishear that?
I think it was,
Or it was a late aye, I think. Okay. Okay, so we are where at 7, 7B, number 1. Mr. Kites?
Yeah, I'm here, Mayor. I'm going to read that item now for you. Item B1, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute any and all agreements regarding Census 2020 initiatives. We have decided to take this item off consensus to speak to it, to bring awareness to the census, which everyone knows is happening now. And what we're being asked to approve tonight is the purpose on which we use the 2 grants we received from 2 organizations, two $10,000 grants equaling $20,000. And that money will be used to get into those areas of Norwalk that we need a little bit extra attention, low income areas, dense urban core, so forth. So that's the gist of it. And like I just want to briefly say that the more I learn about the census, the more I realize how important it is. So I recommend anyone out there hasn't done it yet, really get to it because it really matters. That's it.
So Mr. Kites moved the item. Any further discussion? I
Yes.
believe- Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Burnett.
Yes, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things with the census. One, those that have not completed the census will be receiving an additional form in the mail very shortly, so that if they have lost or misplaced their original census form, they will be receiving another one. So I wanted to highlight that only those that have not completed a census will be receiving the form. And also, too, wanted to focus on the fact that we still need to continue to provide whatever information we can to those communities that typically have not been involved in completing the census information. One of the activities that we are currently completing, the Norwalk NAACP, along with the Housing Authority, will be distributing masks throughout the Housing Authority starting tomorrow. And with that mask will be census information to bring awareness that the census is still going on. There's still an opportunity to complete the form, and the important value of having this information, which will be used to determine the types of services that are received within Norwalk. So it's a very important initiative. I know we're currently focused on the coronavirus situation, but the census is also very important going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Any further discussion? Ms. Johnson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to add that based on information I learned recently, thanks to a question by Diana Revoluz, that you can go online and complete the census in multiple languages, not just English and Spanish. So in particular for our populations in Norwalk who are needing that type of interface, the online census form will be able to give you in your native language opportunity to be counted, no matter what language you speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Any further discussion? Ms. Smith?
I would just like to thank the Fairfield County Community Foundation for their support so that we can provide this outreach for the census. It's really valuable. So thanks for that.
Thank you as well. Further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I believe Sabrina Church is also
Yes,
on the line.
Yep.
And yeah.
Ms. Church, would you like to make some comments?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Greg. I just wanted to point out and say thank you to the Complete Count Committee of the City of Norwalk. We've been meeting since last year, almost at this point, in efforts for outreach to get awareness around the census and for people to fill out the census and really focus on those areas that are hard to count. We had a group of about 24 members that included a plethora of individuals from community-based organizations, the Housing Authority, the Health Department, other city departments. So I want to thank all of you guys, especially those of you on the council who have been participating via electronically or have come to the actual meetings before we got into the world of coronavirus. And I just wanted to give an update on how we've been responding. You can actually check online on the census website how our response rate at this time. Nationally, the census is being responded at a 53.7% completion rate. Connecticut's at 56.5% and Norwalk's at 55.6%. And this is before, at this point last year, we are way above that. And we also have not had anybody obviously going around to door knock. So we're in a really good spot, and the efforts of the Complete Count Committee and the outreach that we've done is really showing. So, and again, thank you to ABCD and to the Fairfield Community Foundation for giving us the funding to be able to do that, especially now when we have to focus on other methods of communication that don't involve person-to-person interaction. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Church. Ms. Casey, do you have anything to add?
I just want to thank everyone for their efforts, and we've really come together with the COVID-19 pandemic being here. We've done a number of different Zoom meetings and really thought collectively about creative ways about doing outreach and how to work with the different agencies and different nonprofits that are doing different efforts like distribution of food or reaching out to different groups. And we've been able to put a lot of the postcards and palm cards in out to people through those particular avenues. So I really want to say thank you to everybody for their creative approach and thinking about the Census 2020 this round. We know that it's extremely important that people participate, and we're really focused on the outreach at this particular point in time. So thank you very much, Mayor, and to all of those folks that have been helping us get the word out.
Thank you, Ms. Casey. I believe Ms. Young wishes to say something.
So I appreciate all the work that Jessica and Sabrina have done to coordinate this effort. But I have a question. How do the numbers pan out as far as the hardest to reach communities? Do we have any sense of that within the 53% completion rate so far?
So I can respond to that. The hard to count areas are still traditionally a little bit lower than the rest of the city. They're at and around 40 to 45%. So we still have a little bit more work to do there, which hopefully we will through distributing the additional information at the meal food pickup sites, through the housing authority, those types of avenues, and also communicating via social media through our community-based organizations who've been looped in obviously all of the meetings, but not that much lower than some of the other areas. I think the highest one we have right now is about 65%, and that's up in Silvermine. So lower than their other census tracts, but not super significantly lower.
And compared to last year, last census, do you have those?
I don't have those numbers. I just have the total for the entire city. I can ask Kevin for you if you'd like that information, though. I'm happy to get it for you.
I think it would help to know where we are, because we want to go up. We don't want to go down or stay stagnant with that.
Sounds good. I can get that to you.
Okay, thank you. And so I also like to say too, I know a lot of work has been put into that, but I think a lot of, to reach the point that we want is going to probably take some foot soldiers. And so that will probably be something that we can work on within our community, but it's going to take some actual, as much as you can do face-to-face at this point, but some sort of interaction with folks that they're familiar with. So I think that's something we can work on. And I know we talked about it at our committee level. So I think moving forward, we can do that still. That's it.
Okay, the mayor will be right back on. He got knocked off of Zoom. I don't know if anyone else has any comments about the census while we're waiting. Oh, okay, I believe there's a vote to be taken, Ms. Smith.
You're muted.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and call the vote. So on the to authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute any and all agreements regarding the Census 2020 initiatives. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. And I suppose I can ask for a motion.
So moved.
Okay.
Move to
Motion,
adjourn.
okay. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you.
All
Good night,
right.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Everyone be safe.